Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight broadcast. Yeah, I was having a broadcast last night. Let me put it this way: I had a broadcast last night, but I didn't go for as I wanted to because I had other things that I had to do. So due to time, but this is also going to be a short clip, just like yesterday. So it might be shorter than yesterday. It might be almost the same amount of time. But usually my videos are about an hour or less, depend on the topic and the interest of the topic. So if the topic is wide ranging, then I will go longer. But if it's not wide ranging, then I might have to be a little bit cut of clip, which means I have to make shorten the clip so it won't be that much long. But tonight, I'm just going to expand on what was discussed yesterday and also finish up what I was discussing yesterday pertaining to the topic we had in hand, which is if we are serious in doing business in the sense of fear, because fear itself is one thing that can stop somebody from doing business, which means the fear to do business. The fear to do business. Like I was saying yesterday, not everybody is cut out to do business. Not all of us are cut out to do business. A lot are made to be followers. Very few are business leaders. I'm talking not business leaders as CEO of a company, not business leaders as executives of a company. I'm talking about the actual founders of the company, the initial investors of the company. Not even investors, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the founders of the company, who started the company. Only very few people. So, not everybody is cut out to do business, but a lot of people can contribute money towards business. So, that's one thing that I will be discussing tonight. Just like last night, the topic from last night was, should we play it safe in business? Should we play it safe in business? Meaning that we do play it safe in business. But the question becomes, why do we play it safe in business? I will say it 1,000 times. Not everybody is cut out to do business. Not everybody is made to be a business person. Not everybody has what it takes to be in business. You can contribute money, doesn't mean you can manage it. You can contribute money, doesn't mean you should be running the affairs. It takes a lot. It takes management skills. You got to have foresight. Your brain has to move at the speed of light, meaning that decisions has to be taken that quick. You have to be proactive, not reactive. Because one thing that kills business is people being reactive, not proactive. But how can you be proactive if you've never done business before? If you don't have business acumen, there is no way you can be proactive. It takes a lot to be proactive. Proactive comes with, guess what? Experience. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this. Playing it safe. Playing it safe is an evidence of fear. It's just like when you go into a game to play a game. When you have fear of the game itself, you play it safe. You didn't come with the mentality to win. That's the winning mentality. It's not in you when you play things safe. That is why they say the fat cows are the ones that make money in business. Business are not made for mediocres. Business are not started by mediocres. Business are not started by men that think safe or women that think safe. You have to be shrewd. In some cases, you have to be ruthless. It's just the game of the deal. But if you know you don't have what it takes to do this, then it comes down to you being able to look for somebody that has what it takes to do that. I was having a conversation with somebody very smart in business, and we talked so extensively about business. One thing I found out in business is that when people do business and when they don't know how to do business, or when they have knowledge of doing business, or when they want to go into business adventures, they seek people that know it, but then sometimes they bring a lot of numbers in, which means so many people become invested in that business. When you have so many people being invested in a business like that, what it does basically, it causes chaos. Like, let's say, let me put it this way. If you want to be in a business that require coalition of people, you want to minimize the number of investors that are in that business. In the sense that if you have a business where you have more than 4 investors, you shouldn't go into it. Because my personal experience have taught me that when you have more than 4, now you are 5 people, you have a whole lot of difference in opinion or difference of opinion. And it slows a lot of things down. Decisions become a problem. The only way something like that can run efficiently is that you guys have to delegate. Who does what, who briefs the team about what is going on. There is always somebody there that will answer most of the questions, and then questions will be asked to that person by the other investors. So he or she will be the point person in charge of certain affairs of that business. That is why delegation of activities, delegation of position is very, very necessary in business, just like it's necessary in government. Because in government, you don't have the president running all the affairs of the government, from commerce to aviation to agriculture to defense to homeland security. No. The president doesn't run all those affairs. He delegates his duty to other posts that have been appointed: Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of the Treasury, all those things. The president delegates it because he chooses those that have the capacity. Those that have what it takes to operate those businesses are the people that the president entrusts with those portfolios to get those businesses executed. The same thing happens in business. But when you have 4 investors are like 4 presidents in one company. So that's a whole lot. Because I think in some cases, it depends on how much that is contributed by each individual, is how high the decision of the company is made, which means the person with the highest money gets to decide what runs or what is done. But it can also cause chaos, because sometimes if person number A money is vital in that business, and then you guys are not listening to that person, that individual might pull out their money, and it becomes chaotic. Because when there is not enough capital to run business, what happens is that the business itself becomes in trouble, and when the business is in trouble, especially financial trouble, that is a recipe for disaster. So, in order to avoid stuff like that, you bring down the number of people that are appointed to be the number of investors that invest with you, not appointed, the number of investors that invest with you. Because those investors will get to say, okay, you know what? No, it becomes, if you have low number of investors, it streamlines the decision. Whatever you guys want to do, because of the fact that the number of people are very low, the decision making becomes streamlined. And due to a streamline, it's easy to have flow of conversation. That is why having very low number of people in investment matters a lot. So one other thing that I was discussing recently through business knowledge is that when it comes to doing business, like I said in previous videos, not everybody is called out to do business. And I said in previous video that 85% of the population are actually workers in various sectors, from government to large scale to small scale to mid scale business. 85% of the population are workers, meaning that 85% of the population cannot do business. But then the remaining 15%, only 9% of the population have actually done business that succeeded, which means 9% of the population has anywhere from small business that have lasted more than 5 years all the way to the biggest corporations in the nation. Only 9% of the population are able to do that. Only 9%. Then when it comes to starting business, 80% of small businesses that started businesses that started fail under 2 years. 80% fail under 2 years. Within that 2 years of starting the business, they don't make it. They go out of business. And most of the reason why these things happen is logistics. Logistic in the sense that the owner of the business is absent. The owner of the business or the individual starting this business is still working at the previous job, which means they haven't quit the previous job. They still work there. There is no time. I will put it this way: the allocated time between the actual job of the owner of the business to the startup business is just not even 90%. Usually it's anywhere between 10 and 25%, because 80% of the time is put into the actual business that pay the bill at the time. And the reason why this is done is because, like I said in the previous video, is the fear to do business, the fear to lose, the fear of not being able to pay the next bill, the fear of not being able to take care of things that will come up, because the individual in question has not mapped out or taken the time to outline what it takes to do business. The individual has not taken the time to study business activities, study what it takes to start business, understand what business is all about, understand the fact that when you start a business, you don't start a business by playing it safe. You have to invest every single time needed to get that business jump started. That business has to stay afloat. All your undivided attention is required in that business. You have to run that business like it's the last thing, the last breath. But the big elephant in the house is losing money. That is why a lot of people don't quit their job to start a new business, because they are scared of losing. If this business doesn't work out, I might not be able to pay my bills. This business is going to fail. The confidence in sustaining that business is just not there, because they had a story, they had somebody talking about how to start a business, or maybe they saw somebody doing good in business, and all of a sudden they say, oh, if this person is doing it, I can do it. If this person is making it, I can make it. This person doesn't have two heads. We have both the same number of heads to do business. I don't think this person is smarter than me. I am as smart as he is. I've done the same thing just like him. So why should he be able to do business and I can't? Then they get into it. When they get into that business, they're like, oh, shoot, I really can't. This is time consuming. Where am I starting? What am I doing? And then they do this and do that. And then the next thing they find out is that, hey, I am not really getting the amount of customer that this person is getting. I might not be getting the amount of turnover that this person is getting. Something is not right, but I don't want to quit my job. Or they start finding out about businesses that failed. But what they're not reading is why did those businesses fail? Because when something succeeds, you have to find out why did it succeed. Just as equally as you have to find out when something failed, why did it fail? You can't just do something out of whim. Nothing is done out of whim that requires success. Sometimes you do things out of gut, but no matter the risk that you're taking in life, you can't just do things out of whim. Most of the things that you have to do it because it's required to be done. In the sense that when you get into business and business requires your attention, you have to study the blueprint of how other people did their business. If not, you can meet individuals that are in that business and ask questions. How were you able to succeed? Try, if you got to be an apprentice in something, become an apprentice. Sometimes you got to be an apprentice for like 2 months, 6 months. Okay, have you ever had any experience, just like I said in the previous video, have you ever had any experience in this business that you're trying to embark on? If you've never had, can you study about it? Can you study about the success and failures behind it? Can you maybe try to go and do an apprentice in that business? Okay, I'm from a country called Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have a tribe called the Igbo people. One thing about the Igbo people is that they have a lot of small businesses. And I will tell you, more than 75, I would put it as 70% of those business to 75% of those business succeed for more than 20, 30 years. They succeed a whole generation. Very few of those business fail within 5 years of startup. And one thing that made the Igbo people in eastern Nigeria very successful in the businesses that they do is because they don't just get up and start a business out of maybe by looking at somebody else's success or out of a whim. They don't do that. What they do is that at a very young age, the young boy goes into apprenticeship with an uncle or a relative or an extended family member. He gets to use 5 to 7 years under the leadership of that individual to learn the intricacy of that business. Sometimes these boys are as young as 10 years old. Sometimes they're as young as 15. Usually when they get to high school graduation rate, they deemed too old to become an apprentice. But at the age of 10, because they in the eastern part of Nigeria, which is the Igbo land, they believe that at that age is the best age to program these guys, to get them to conform to the idea of the masters, and due to the fact that their brain is still virgin. So they learn how to do business. They start doing business as early as 10 years old. So by the time this young boy turned 16, 17, he's graduating actually from the apprenticeship. Then he becomes a master of his own. And then other boys will come and join him to serve under him as to do those apprenticeship. But it becomes a way that the Igbos survive in trade, which is called buying and selling. But they survive because In that 5 years, these boys learn how to do business in buying and selling, which is called trade. They learn how to do it. Because the tribe itself understands that it's not something you do for 6 months or 1 year. It just don't happen. They believe it's something you have to do over a period of time, because it's like going to a university, but this is more of like informal university. But it's like a university of trade that takes 5 to 7 years to graduate. You get to serve your master, you get to do so many things, you get to fetch the water that is used in their house, because most of these houses don't have a running shower. So you have to go somewhere to fetch that water, and you do this every night for 5 to 7 years. It's not something I wish anybody to do, but it's been done. But in that 5 to 7 years, this individual, this little kid, becomes an adult. By the time he turns 17 or 18, just like I said earlier, he becomes his own master. He becomes a master to other apprenticeship. That's the other apprentice that will join him. But if you have a boy that is 19 years or 20, they will not do the same standard like the 10-year-old did, because now he's deemed too old to do it. But what he would do, basically, his father or his family has to be the one providing him the settlement at the end of the business, because that little kid that spent that 5 years to 7 years serving his master will be provided financial requirements to be able to start his own business by his master that he served for 5 to 7 years. That's the deal. That's the agreement. Sometimes they're not giving that money. They send home just like they came, which is another story. But the kid that was 17, 18, 19 that came at an older age, as they deemed it, the financial requirement to start a business is going to be provided by the kid's parents. But he will only serve 2 years apprenticeship with that master, who does not have any financial obligation to him. He doesn't have to do domestic work while he was at the master's house, because he's not going to get any financial settlement. But if he ends up doing any kind of domestic work, then the master might consider by providing with a very low amount of financial settlement as a gesture of, hey, you were a good guy while you were with me. But what I'm saying in essence is this: if these boys with no high school diploma, but with elementary school diploma, could do such thing like this by taking their time with a virgin brain, a virgin mind, to go through this training for 5 to 7 years to understand this business, that tells you how delicate doing business is. Doing business is not a small deal. I would say it's not a chicken change. It's not something that somebody embarks in or embarks on and say that, oh, I'm going to take my $10,000, I'm going to take my $500,000, and I'm going to go into this business, and then I'm going to make it happen, and then in the next 2 years I'll be a billionaire, a millionaire. No, it doesn't happen like that. When you see stuff happen like that, no, it's not a miracle. If you look at most billionaires in America, like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, those guys started a business that they took so many years studying. You got to study the business. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to study the business. You have to understand the business. You have to understand what you're embarking on. In the sense that somebody like Jeff Bezos understood delivery services. And the company Amazon brought in technology that had never been used before. He studied how UPS made it, how FedEx made it, how United Post Office made it, and then he also studied their lagging. He found out where they are lacking. With their lacking, he took advantage of it to build an empire today. Tesla, the same thing. Tesla understood that right after 2003 2003 invasion of Iraq, that the United States was looking for alternative to oil, to the Middle Eastern oil. That became the bed of Tesla. He took advantage of that. Sometimes in business, you have to ask yourself, what do the people want? What do the people want? Look for something that has never been. Do it and it become an innovation. Taxi drivers were messing up, not picking up people, disrespecting passengers. When they are being requested, they will not show up. They might show up 1 hour later, and then you only have 20 minutes to get to the airport to catch your flight. In some cases, people miss their flight. Uber came and took advantage of that. But before Uber came, they went and studied the business, understood that, okay, we have premium customers, and these premium customers, they like cars that will be of premium. And those cars will take them to their destination. In some cases, those cars will wait outside, be it a car or SUV, but a premium car will wait outside for such a long time while they are inside taking care of business. They don't have to call, they don't have to book an appointment for you to come back, but they want that service. And the service is provided, the money is paid. Uber took advantage of that. But while Uber was taking advantage of that, Uber also understood that, hey, that the common man out there was not even getting the service that he requested, or the common woman out there is not getting the service, is not getting service is not getting service for the service he requested. What did Uber do? Uber started a low budget transportation in order to match taxi or go below taxi's price. And Uber chased us away by doing that. So sometimes in business, you have to ask yourself, what is lagging? Or, okay, there is these big top shots doing business, but what are their customers complaining about? Because if you can find out what customers are complaining about, and if you can bring a service that can fix that complaint, you become the next big thing. That is business for you. But in some cases, not everybody is called out to do business. Just like I've said, not everybody is called out to do business. If you are not called out to do business, what do? Invest in one. You don't need to run the affairs of it. You don't need to be the one deciding what happens in the business. But you're going to be the one receiving the return on your investment. You don't have to invest in one business. You can invest in multiple if you have the financial means to do that. And invest in business that you know that you're not buying the stock, but rather you're investing into the sole business itself, so that when the return on investment comes in a monthly basis. And if you want to do buyback or maybe which is called reinvestment, you reinvest your money of certain percentage. You leave off of the other percentage. But by you spreading your seed, spreading your money around to go around to other businesses, now you're creating multiple return on investments. That is called being wise. That is why I said that if you can't run it, if you can't drive it, just be behind the driver. Let the person that knows how to drive it. And you stay behind in the driver's seat, in the passenger seat, or at the back seat. But one thing you should know, both the driver and you all getting to the same destination. That's what it is. Only that one person is in charge. But at the end of the day, you're going to get paid. The problem is that a lot of people want to be in the driver's seat. That's the problem. A lot of people want to be in the driver's seat. A lot of people want to be called the owner of the company. A lot of people want to take credit, even where they're going to fail. Sometimes you set the ego aside, you put your ego aside, you just sit back, relax, and let the driver drive, and you get into that destination. Not every time in life will you be the driver. Not It's not every time in life will you be the driver. Sometimes you just got to be the conductor. Sometimes you just got to enjoy the ride. But the reason why I said not to always be the driver is because there are things you're not good at, but you think you're good at it. But when you sit back and watch somebody else do it, you'll be marveled at their knowledge. Sometimes something you've spent 4 months trying to do, somebody has spent years doing it. And bet you they are good at it. When you have a cash flow, or when you have a cash stack up somewhere, look for somebody that is good at his job, that can turn your 1,000 into hundreds of thousands, turn your hundreds of thousands into 1 million, turn your 1 million into multiple millions, or hundreds of millions over years. Those are things you should pay attention to. Sometimes you're not cut out to do it. That's okay. But you can cut out to make the money. That's the best. So, I just want to thank you guys for listening tonight. But I know that this right here will be of a good lesson. A lesson that will tell us that I might not be cut out to do business, but I sure can be cut out to reap of the profit. Yeah. Look at it this way. You put your money into 3 to 5 businesses of trusted people. And each business every month brings you 5 to 10%. I'm not saying you should be stupid to join a Ponzi, to invest into somebody that is going to be a Ponzi scammer or a Ponzi scheming individual. No, don't do that. Invest in a business that you can easily see the operation going on. You can easily touch the operation going on. Invest in things that you can go and see the progress in that business. One of the best businesses to embark on as things like startup business that have to do with technology. You can see it. You can see the structure coming up. Technology is one of them. Real estate is one of them. Restaurant is one of them. Bar is one of them. Entertainment is one of them. Retail is one of them. There are many retail companies out there that are out of business. There are many retailers coming in business. There are online retail, there are store retail. But retail that doesn't ask for stock investment, but actually looking for real-time investors to invest in that business, are things you should also look into. Because these are things you can touch. If that's what you want to do. Some people like stock because they've been doing it for years. It's profitable to them. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is this. There are businesses that are high risk business like stock. There are business like low risk business like investment. The difference is that in stock you can invest 5,000, you can invest 10,000, you can invest 20,000. That doesn't mean you're going to live off of it. But people that live off of stock are people that invest hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And when they do that, they usually get a lot of money in return because these guys are beyond touch. They're beyond. You're not regular investors. I'm regular stockholders or stock buyers, whichever way you want to put it. But being an investor is a totally different ballgame. The money required to be an investor is huge. It's much bigger. It's not 20,000. These are hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. And your return in investment depends on turnover in the company, which means merchandise are leaving shelves. Discounts are not maximum, return are minimum. So when you have low return, not high discount, the company becomes profitable. And when things like that happen, and it's an actual investment that has to do with everyday return, like hotels, real estate, those kind of business will give you high return. Very, very high return, because those kind of business are constant. They have constant cash flow. They have constant cash flow. But they also require a lot of financial investment. That is why a lot of people don't get into those businesses. But I am marveled that those businesses are occupied by the Indians. They are pretty smart when it comes to business. They do it really good. They do it better than anyone else. They have the patience, the resource to do that. So, that is why my conviction is this, that we can do it. If we can take our eyes away from being scared to fail. If we can build our confidence up, if we can agree within ourselves that we can do it. Sometimes all you can do is just get one or two people together and you make it happen. Extra one person, extra two person. If you know your capital is low of certain business, take it to 4. But don't go alone in most businesses. Share the risk. Share the profit. It's much better. Because if you have 1,000 to invest in a business and somebody else has 1,000, that's 2,000. Less one more thousand that you have to put in the business. 3 person, that's 3,000. Less of 2,000 that you have to put into the business. 4 people, 4,000. Less of 3,000 that you have to put into the business. Now you're sharing profit and risk. Sometimes sharing profit is not a good thing. Oh, I hate it. But boy, I love sharing risk. But that's a common sense that you should know that when you share risk, you have to share profit. That's what it is. You share the risk, you share the profit. But investing smart is one thing that I do advocate in this podcast. Invest smart. Not only are you going to invest smart, but before you embark into a business, take a long time to study the intricacy of that business. Study it. Understand how the business functions. Know where your competition is lagging and know where you can be of a greater success before you embark on it. But even as you embark on it, keep doing what you got to do to make that business succeed, to improve on what you're embarking on. Keep researching, keep digging, meet people that are in that business already. It might not be the owners of the business, but people that work in that business. Don't be scared to reach them. Reach them. Ask them questions and get to understand what is the company that they are working at doing to succeed. What are they doing good and what are they doing bad? What do you think is affecting this company's profitability and what do you think that is helping it? Those are questions you have to ask people in that field. You don't necessarily have to go all the way to management, but you can ask the people in the field, because you'll be surprised that those people in the field, in most cases, are far more knowledgeable than the people in management. Because one thing I understand when I was in retail is that people in management don't listen. People in management don't listen. And that's why they have a high turnover in employee. But thank you guys for listening tonight, and I'm looking forward to discussing probably maybe Friday or Saturday. I'll be online again. If not, it's going to be Sunday for sure. But I will definitely push it for Friday so we can all discuss and have a good business discussion, discuss on how to invest in today's world, both in technology and in real life. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you guys, and like I said, very soon I'm going to be bringing up guests that will come and sit down with me and tell you guys more about business. Please do tell your friends to subscribe to this channel, because I'm looking forward to seeing the subscription rate go up. So as the subscription rate goes up, it enables me to understand that people are interested in this channel, and with that I'll be able to reach out to people that will come and speak to you guys. Because if the subscription is not going up, a lot of people will not want to come, because they're going to be like, okay, how many people are going to watch me, or how many people are going to, we humans, we have ego. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, or maybe seeing you guys share more of this video and bring your friends to subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and you guys have a good night. Bye bye.